Hey everyone, welcome to our EDI social media series where we chat with amazing members of youth organizations making spaces more inclusive, diverse, and fair for young people. I am Stephanie from Oxfordshire Youth, and today we are joined by BYHP, who are tackling the root cause of youth homelessness. And we have the CEO of BYHP, that's Linda Slide, and we have Emma Phillips as the head of client services. Well, before we dive deep into the EDI values and getting to know them better, I have an icebreaker for you. So, which is if you both can describe your organization's vibe using only three words, what would they be?
Fun.
Fun. Okay.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Honest.
Yeah.
Honest. Yeah.
Supportive. I think
Yeah.
that covers the team and the clients.
Wow, beautiful. So it's fun, it's honest and supportive.
Yeah.
That's really the really good vibe. So with that vibe, I would like to know what EDI values best represent your organization.
Well, we've already said obviously supportive. But I think within that it's important that we recognise every individual is different. So I
Yes,
think
very
although we
much.
offer the core services we offer, it's about seeing that person as an individual and having that flexibility and adapting the support to really listen to what they need and have that more holistic view rather than, that box of you're here for this and that's what we do. It's that
Yeah.
holistic
One
approach.
service for one client
Yeah,
kind of view.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And which of these values do young people in your organization connect with most? Like, can you describe like one
Listening
value?
comes up a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I think
That trustworthy and honesty,
Yeah.
that we've listened, we've been clear about the systems they might be trying to navigate through, the support that they might need. But we were saying, weren't we, it's that taking action on that, listening, but then helping take action.
advocating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Got
that
it.
hopefully they leave with that empowerment. That's a really important value is
Yeah.
that we help them build those skills so that
Mhm.
beyond our
True.
services, however long that might be, they do
Very
feel they've got
much.
that empowerment to advocate for themselves with whatever challenges life may
Yeah.
throw at them.
Leaving with some confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resilience.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Got it, got it. And has there been any point of time where you feel like any of this value was like hardest to practice sometimes?
I think it's in terms of equity, but that's because of a
Mhm.
lot of kind of societal systems that are set up and the
Yeah.
way that they
Okay.
work.
It's difficult to be fair.
Yeah,
Like we obviously always approach it with as much fairness as possible, but
it
yeah,
doesn't
like you
always
said,
feel fair.
doesn't always
You know,
feel fair.
we might have a young person who is homeless, and depending on who they are and their needs, they may be
Okay.
housed immediately in emergency accommodation. And other
Got
people we
it.
may be supporting for weeks,
Yeah.
in a tent with a sleeping bag, helping advocate for them.
But we're limited to obviously what support we can give within our remit. We've also similarly got things with mental health issues. We provide mental health, we have a waiting list. But you read some of these referrals and you're thinking, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
But in terms of we're being fair to everybody because we know that waiting lists is something that comes up a lot as being really unfair to certain minority groups. So we absolutely make sure first come first served, like you're on the waiting list and you wait just alongside everybody else. But you do read some of these things sometimes and go, my goodness, but you don't know who else on that waiting list isn't already in that boat, but it's just not been shared with you. So we have to maintain that. But yeah, there's still those moments when you feel like this doesn't feel fair, or you read something and it just feels beyond. It's almost crisis point, and it's outside of our.
I think,
but again, you then do the referral, and they're not going to get seen for months.
You can see why, young people do feel that they're not treated with equity sometimes because we feel it, and we hope, we've never had that feedback here, luckily, but it does. You can see why the systems that are set up, everybody's doing their best, but it can feel really unfair for them sometimes, trying to get a diagnosis, trying to move out of home, trying to become independent.
Qualify for PIP, obtain some benefits,
Yeah. So that can be really hard sometimes, can't it?
Yeah. It's challenging.
Yeah.
I know, got it. How about how do you turn these EDI values like into real actions for young people? Can you just tell me something more about that?
I think it's seeing a change in a young person.
Hmm.
I think there couldn't, we wouldn't see that change through the work we do with them if we weren't following the EDI values. I think that's the point, is they have to be at the core of what we're doing, don't they? To really see that change. And like we were saying, that empowerment, I think that's such an important value for us, because so often we see young people that have tried to speak up and have tried to have a voice, and it's not been listened to, or they've not got the support that they needed.
True.
So it's not about us stepping in and taking over. It's about going, how do we do it together? So you get that result that you need.
Yeah, and you build up that confidence and that resilience, and you can start seeing those changes for yourself.
Yeah. And recognizing the difference, a difference for one young person might be going and getting an apprenticeship or a full-time job. But for somebody else, it might be you can leave the house and walk down the street, and that's still a change. It's still a difference.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got a bus today.
Yeah. And recognizing that is still just as big a difference for that young person as somebody else.
Got it. Yeah, it is. It is indeed. Can you share with me a moment where you saw these values really come alive?
Yeah, and the advocacy work, seeing
Okay.
them suddenly go, somebody has helped, somebody's advocated for us, somebody's made our voice be listened to. So it then gives them, like you said, it reinforces that empowerment and that importance of speaking up. If something doesn't feel okay or something doesn't feel right, taking action on it.
I think as well, just watching a relationship develop, we don't necessarily see it immediately firsthand, because particularly in the mental health, it's one-on-one.
Yeah,
So
got it.
what's really fascinating and interesting is, without sharing major details, we see therapists come out of rooms, with a smile on their face because there's just been a breakthrough of some kind. Or even we've had feedback where, the client, initially the client's not really communicating, not really saying anything, but the client's actually said something probably quite offensive and abusive. But the joy from that is that they've found their voice. They're sharing how they genuinely feel. So, you come away going, I've just been told to off.
Got it.
But actually, that's great, because this person's finally going, I'm sick to death of this, that, and the other. And it's just, but they come back the next week because they know that you're going to be there and you're consistent. And it's that consistency bit which we hear a lot as well, that they don't have from other, social interactions.
One of our values is genuine, and I think that's the point, isn't it? Is that they feel there's that genuine support there, and we are honest and realistic about society and the systems and things we might need to work through, but that consistency that we are there to try and support with whatever we can, and signpost and refer and move on, move through things as their life changes and their need to change as well.
Yeah, it's just real small things sometimes, though, isn't it? Just looking you in the eye.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
This person looked at their feet for months and now they're looking in the face, even if they're only saying 3 words. It's like, there are just such small changes, but we obviously notice them because,
it's the importance of tailoring every single session, not just service to that individual.
Very much, very much. Well, I would also like to know, like, what challenges have you encountered in promoting EDI values across the organization, and how have you addressed them? And also, like, was there a time where something did not go as you planned? And is there anything that you learned through this experience, if you'd share with me?
So I think our biggest challenge is we don't know what we don't know. So we're consciously incompetent. We listen, we ask for feedback, we will always adapt and make changes whenever we receive that feedback. We're open to all of it and we're always working on it. So I think the biggest challenge is
finding out what we don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know, which sounds obvious, but I think that is so important, to not assume we know everything.
Or
the services we're offering are what young people want, or it's what they need.
Or that our EDI message is out there and reaching everybody, and,
Yeah.
and that we're showing that we're safe to everybody, and we're showing we're
Yeah.
inclusive to everybody, and and how do we do that? And we don't necessarily know.
I think that's like you said, what we then do is that action part, isn't it? It's not just about hearing, it's about showing the young people, okay, we've actually took this, into practice and into action and responded. So we've heard you, but we've actually put something in place as well.
I think the hardest part is not getting the feedback from those that might be missed. I mean, again, I'm not saying we've missed anybody, but maybe there are people that aren't referring in because
of whatever
for whatever reason we don't know, and we're not catching their feedback because they're not being referred. So there might be a bit missing, and I think we're so hyper aware and conscious of that. And we always come away. We have EDI meetings. We have one-to-one EDI meetings with every member of the team. We have EDI meetings every month in our team meeting. We talk about it all the time within management and the trustee board level. So it's not something where we've gone, oh, we've talked about it, tick list, move on. It's something we're constantly analysing and working on. But the challenge is trying to work out what you don't know or what you've missed or what you've not understood. That's the biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah. And I think for clients, it's when you said things don't go as planned, that's always the case. We don't know what's going to happen. They might give something a go and not like it. And I think it's just about going, that's okay. Nobody really knows what they want to do.
And I think that's the thing. This has all been part of the learning. The biggest thing that we're learning is you can't make assumptions. You can't ever believe that you know it all. And I think the other thing we've learned is that sometimes when we've made a change and we've adapted something, the society changes, the world changes, things change for young people so rapidly nowadays, particularly in the space of social media. You're just playing catch up. So I think the biggest thing to learn is that you're going to have to keep in learning mode.
Youth voice. I know that is a really important hot topic at the minute, but this is the point, isn't it? Is there has to be that youth voice because we won't know otherwise. We won't know.
And I don't think I don't know if in a year's time youth voice it's been moved on and there's another hot topic. But I think the reality is youth voice has been missing for way too many years, and I think it has to remain and continue no matter what the hot topic is.
Well, like EDI, it has to be integrated, doesn't it?
It has to be integrated.
It's part of every service where young people are accessing support.
Yeah.
Okay, as we know, working for young people always involves so many stories. And can you share a story where EDI values made a real difference to a young person?
It's difficult to pinpoint one story, particularly when we haven't asked for permission to share an individual's story.
Yeah.
I think there's just so many. I think we've covered a lot of it really in the just watching an individual change and come out of their shell. We have young people that present with, quite severe anxiety, mental health issues. They're no longer attending school. They might be on a reduced timetable or just no show. And it's just, I think, amazing when you see the thing with funders as well. You have these really hard outcomes. They want these really hard outcomes. You particularly in our NEET service, they've got to be moved from NEET to E. And it's like, okay, we'll work on that, but
there's so much that happens in between that, that is actually probably arguably more important for an individual than the end goal of a tick box of I've got a job. Of course, that's important, but
so we build in soft outcomes, our own soft outcomes with all of those things. And we look at that individual, and I think, we have had individuals that won't even come out of the house. So you are literally holding a session through the door or through the window. And then the door's open. So you're holding a session on the doorstep, having a conversation, but the door's open. So, then you might be invited in.
Well, I think
and there's more than one client that this has happened to. So that's why I don't feel like I'm oversharing.
And I do think that is the point, is it's that outreach work, it's meeting them where they are, rather than, yes, we have a lovely building and we have lovely rooms, but that's not accessible for all clients for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And the values have to start, I think, always with the trust. You know, without that, I think it's not fair to expect a young person to open up, to share their story. So it's starting with that, building that trust, and then we can move on to the other values of empowerment and things like that. But
so the big changes for us of watching that, hearing, not necessarily even seeing, but hearing that young person has got on a bus and got a bus ticket.
I guess the point,
You know, and in a Need to Eat service, that doesn't look like success to other individuals, but to us,
that's a form of freedom. Yeah.
Form of, like,
Yeah.
Even if you're following them in a car,
Yeah.
so they just do one stop and then they get out and they're like, I did one stop on my own. It's like, oh my, you know, this is incredible to go from not really even want to talk through the letterbox to, you know, getting on a bus. That to us that's a win.
And that is kind of the thing about, you know, there might not be one story, you know, in particular that we've got permission to share or whatever, but that is I guess the really rewarding part of what we do is there isn't just one story that's the same. That I can think of in all.
No, yeah, it's like you said, mentioned it earlier, you know, somebody's gone in and ordered their own drink, you know, so you've gone from almost that doorstep interaction to I'll walk to the coffee shop with you, but you know, but you're doing everything to over a 6-month period, they're now ordering their own coffee, you know, and other people might go, well, that's crazy, you spent 6 months doing that, and it's kind of like,
it takes
time. That investment into that individual, and then, you know, you hear later on they're now volunteering or
they work at that coffee shop, you
they
know,
now work at that coffee shop,
yeah. And it's like, actually, you know, those small steps are so important to not just be missed, you know, to just
the massive changes to us.
Hearing your stories and the work that you do really tells so much, that the impact that you do in the life of young people. And could you share a moment, or maybe multiple moments, wherein has made you feel proud for the work that you do?
I feel proud. Sorry to jump in.
No, you're fine.
I obviously am in a leadership position, and I think I feel proud when I hear great feedback about the team and the work that the team are doing, because we work with about 250 to 300 young people in a year, and we've only got 6 client-facing team members that actually outreach work with clients, and it just blows my mind the amount of work they do, what they achieve, given how low numbers they are and how high the numbers are of the individual they're working with, given the long-term work that we have to do with them that we've just talked about. I think that makes me the proudest, because I'm not working directly with clients.
But I think we do, you know, we do have to recognise the changes in clients and the commitment they put in. But I was going to say it's the proud moments of seeing the team, and we are so lucky that they're so dedicated and care so much about what they do. You know, advocacy is just second nature to them; it's not questioned. And those are the moments, like you said, when you see it, you know, going out and they're doing that, and it's like, actually,
that makes me I mean, obviously, because you also see these changes in these young people, so you know, across the journey. That's what makes me.
And it might, like you said, it's not immediate. These things are not a rush, you know, they take time, and it might be years later we bump into somebody in the local community and they've moved on, they've got their own house, you know, they've still had a really difficult time, but they've moved on, or, you know, they're working in a coffee shop where we go to have a meeting, and it's all those, like you said, it's that long-term recognition as well.
And what's going to add? I think the other thing is that the team will take on extra. You know, we've got a team member that's joined the Disability Confident Network. So, you know, we're Disability Confident level 2, and we wanted to work towards moving up to level 3. And one of the team members has just gone, I'm taking on that. I'll take on that role. I'll take the leadership on that. You know, we're involved, we're there to support. But, you know, when you're in a management position and you've got all these extra bits as well that come on, and, you know, anything from procurement to doing the finances, you know, trying to find all those times to be involved in all those things. So it's great for that. And we've got another person who's very invested in EDI and always brings something new, shares articles they've seen, you know, about waiting lists or about
it takes a whole team, doesn't it?
EDI in mental health, and it takes the whole team basically. I think that's the thing, and they'll just get involved and
and it
share.
needs the whole team, like you said, to make sure those values are there. It's not a question, they're just there. And the whole team, like you said, just follow them each day, and it's part of their nature and their work.
It wouldn't work if I was just going, we've got to do this, and they're all like, like they are passionate about young people
and change, aren't they? Respond, like you said, we never know what's going to happen, what's going to come up, so we need to
and we're all passionate. I'm passionate about change, so it's just, I think once it's across the whole organisation,
it flows.
Great.
Got it. That's really beautiful. Well, what advice would you give to young people who want to promote inclusion in their schools, clubs, or communities?
Start with a conversation, I think. Approach your head of the year, approach, I don't know, your head of a department.
I think it's reinforcing, we hear it a lot, don't we? We're saying, youth voice, young people have a voice, but they need to believe that, they need to feel they do, so that when they do speak up about something, whatever it may be,
that's the thing,
they are listened to, and they do feel valued and respected in what they're saying. So I think, I know it's a message that we've heard a lot, but it's one that still needs pushing in a lot of work. You do have a voice, and people do want to hear you and do want to listen.
If you see something you don't think is right, say something. You shouldn't be afraid. To do that.
And I think the thing we've seen is you don't know how many other people that's going to help. If you're the one that does that, you don't always see that, but it's there.
If you've got the confidence to do it and stand up and say, I think you'll be surprised how many people stand up behind you and go,
I think the other thing we said as well was, when we were thinking about it, was that it's okay to not always have a plan or things not go to plan. Of course there are certain things in life that are important and going to school and education, but if things don't always go to plan, that's okay, or you don't know what you want to do next. But there is so many pressures put on young people. If I think back to that time, it's what are you going to do, what are you doing next, what have you achieved? And it's like, actually sometimes we've achieved getting dressed, taking a shower, like people can't see the effort that takes some days and what it's took for somebody's brain and mental health to get to that point to be able to do those things.
Just speak up, I mean.
Speak up.
So with that, we have almost the last part of our episode, and the last question is, looking ahead, how do you hope the organization will continue to live by these EDI values?
We're embedding it. It's just got to be embedded. It's just got to be. Right now, because we've talked about the challenges, and I think it's because we're recognizing that there is stuff that we don't know. We've talked about that already, but I think we are also embedding it. Like I said, it's part of every one-to-one. It's just a conversation, and every one-to-one gives the staff an opportunity to talk about how they feel from a HR perspective, openly and honestly, but also maybe what experiences they've seen for young people, and share that alongside our monthly team meetings, where we can generally spend some time to talk about it, but embedding it as well, that it's just part of our way of doing things, that they're listening to young people, they're hearing, it's just part of your conscience.
And continuing to change. Like you said, we know we'll need to. We know we need to find out more. We know there will be changes. We know there will be things that come up that we don't know. So to listen to the young people and adapt and have that flexibility. I think we spoke at the start about, we offer that holistic support. So it is that, it's not you're here for this and that's it. It's let's look at you as an individual in your life. And I think that's so important to continue, whilst recognising there will be things that come up that we need to catch up on, and we need to be aware
of. And we'll
keep
working with you, even if we've referred you here or signposted you we've done this, that and the other, and you're coming back to tell me about what support you received from this organisation. We're still here to support you and support you through. But I think once it's embedded, it's just part of your culture. And I think it just needs to be part of the culture. It's not a tick box exercise, EDI.
Got
You know, you can't just go, I've asked,
No.
I've sent out a, you know, questionnaire, I've got some feedback and, well, maybe we'll do this action. It has to be a
Let's do that.
constant, ongoing, embedded,
Yeah.
as part of your culture.
And I know we've mentioned, well, I've mentioned it a few times, is that empowerment, but I do hope that's what we'll see in the future. Like you said, is young people speaking up and being listened to,
Yeah.
and the action taken. And I think that will hopefully then, like you said, become more embedded in schools, charities, communities, you know, clubs, wherever it may be. It is just, that's just part of it, you know, is that young people speak up and there's a response,
Yeah.
an action from it.
Before we conclude, I would like you to give a message. What would you like to give out to young people? So maybe this one will be like one on each, like Linda can give one and Emma can give one. So like it's like a message you would like to give out to young people.
So I was thinking about this, and I think from my own personal life experience, I recall having to make a decision about what my life was going to look like at like 16. I had no idea. I had absolutely no clue. And I'm now 50. I've done a number of jobs that have all given me a transferable skill
Mhm.
to leave me where I am now. So I think my message would be, you know, people always go, oh, life's so short. It's not. Life's not that short. You know, you've actually got loads of time. There's plenty of time. And if you don't know what you want to do, if you don't know who you want to be, if you're not sure what life looks like in the future, but you feel that you want to go on and do education or what have you, just go and do something that you enjoy. Just go and do something that's fun. Because the number of people I've seen even retrain to become a lawyer in their 30s, you know, and then been very successful at it at that point in their life this time.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest message I would give. And I hear it a lot, particularly from neat clients and other clients, you know, that pressure that schools know and just know who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And it's like, no, the chances are you won't be. You won't be that for the rest of your life anyway, because actually as you get older, you'll suddenly go, I don't really like this. I think I really like this. I'm going to change. So, I mean, I've gone back into education about 3 or 4 times over my life and retrained in different areas and aspects. I'm an apprentice now doing another course. You know, so yeah, there's loads of time.
I think mine's on a similar kind of thought process, but is be honest, which I think requires, as cliche as it sounds, being brave. I think again, from personal experience, it's hard to be honest about how you're feeling, about what's going on. I think especially sometimes if things do look okay on the outside, it's, you know, it's be honest, because actually you don't need to suffer alone. You don't need to go through these things and have all the answers and solve it all yourself. You know, it's, yes, it's scary. Yes, it's hard. It might not be immediately there in terms of all the answers, but, you know, again, same with what you want to do and the pressures and things like that. Be honest with yourself, first of all, as to what you want to do, because I think that's what we see so often, isn't it, is trying to please other people or trying to fit into the boxes we think we should follow in life. And those boxes don't always make us happy. You know, sometimes we have to be.
I remember doing a careers advice and it came out and it said, you know, you should be a hairdresser, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being a hairdresser. I absolutely love my hairdresser. Thank God she trained. But it wasn't for me. That's just absolutely. But I've got this careers advisor telling me, well, based on this questionnaire you filled in, this is absolutely, you know, the career path you should go down. And of course, I completely ignored it, which I'm glad about, because my career path took me down a number of different career choices. So yeah, I think you're right. Just be honest and yeah.
But with yourself as well.
Yeah.
You know, like you said about it can be really hard to be honest, to just go, I don't know. Like I don't know.
That's why I'm saying it's probably, I'm sure there's lots of people going, what is she saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, go and do something that you're just going to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still sat now in my 50s going, I want to become a forensic scientist. I'm really fascinated by forensics, and should I retrain in that? And I'm kind of questioning whether I should do that in my 50s, but the other part of my brain's going, why not? If you want to do that, go and do that. You know, like there's plenty of time. My dad's 82, he's still driving. He comes and does all of our
Food
bank, and he comes and fixes all kinds of things, does all the DIY. He's 82, he's still driving, you know, he's got plenty of life still left in him. So if you,
Maybe the message between us that we've come up with is, and I know it's not always this easy, but at least start working towards do what you want to do.
Yeah,
I think I guess that's what I'm trying to think. We've given a lot of messages there. Sorry, you said one, and I really like it.
Something that you want to do, not that you think you should do. And if you're not actually enjoying it, change it.
Yeah.
And life is long enough to do that in. Is the point.
And as you said, like I just asked for one, and you just gave so many messages.
I'm sorry,
pretty sure. No, it's like I'm pretty sure.
Fits in that bit about don't feel pressured to know.
Yeah.
Don't feel pressured to have all the answers now. They will come to you over time.
Indeed. And I'm sure whoever is going to listen to this will really feel it was really nice hearing those messages out, because that's all that they wanted to hear, maybe this day or the day this is going to be released, and that day itself. So I think that was really great. And I really thank you for giving out so many ideas and messages. It was really helpful.
Thank you.
And with that, we are going to conclude our episode today. So thank you so much, Linda and Emma. And that brings us to the end of today's episode, which was indeed very insightful and fun. And well, thank you for watching, everyone. We hope you had as much as fun listening as we did talking. So until next time, bye.